Good morning and welcome to Church at Home with Rachael for Tuesday the 10th of August. I hope you're having a great summer. I hope that August is going well for you and that as we approach the fall that you are looking forward to opportunities to get out there and to participate in life a little bit more like we used to. Now that we're sort of in a time of not post-pandemic but a little time of a little bit of eased restrictions, although maybe we should be pulling them back. Enough about that. This morning, I would like to talk to you about what I feel like I term every couple of years as Olympic fever. I am a big fan of the Olympics. I am a bit of an Olympic junkie. I tend to watch as much as I can, although this year I found it a little distressing because of when the timings were. We seem to be watching reruns and not the whole race and things like that, as CBC showed us what they chose to show us. But something that happens to me every year during the Olympics, I get so hyped up during the actual events. And I get so excited and cheering Canada on and, this is awesome and aren't they fantastic and isn't this great? And just in awe of these incredible athletes and all that they've done, the work that they do, how hard they train, everything they do. And I get really wrapped up in it. And then after it's all over, by the time we get to the closing ceremonies, I'm exhausted. And I'm often a little down, not really depressed, but I get kind of let down somehow, like going to some, amusement park for the day and you have so much fun, you get so tired. And then by the time you come home, you're so exhausted, it almost takes the shine off the day. That's kind of how I feel about the Olympics every year, every 2 years with summer and winter. And I think part of it is because while it's happening, I am so excited for our athletes and so proud of them and so in awe of what they do. But when it's all over, I start sort of judging myself against their standard and think, who am I? I've never achieved anything great. I'm not good at anything. I've never been able to win an event or to be the most popular or any of those things. And it's like going right back to high school all over again. All of those self-doubts and all of those things thinking in my head, wow, if some people could do that, then what's wrong with me that I haven't committed myself to something and, gone out and become the best at it, or at least as good as I possibly could be. It doesn't matter that, I've never had any desire to, jump hurdles or to throw the shot put or the discus or javelin or something. That's just not my thing. And one of the things we have to realize is that for all of those athletes, they have found that thing that gives them gladness. I was reading earlier this morning from a book, Whispers of God, about the sense that when we're called to something, we will be filled with gladness. When we find that thing that we love to do, that vocation, that hobby, that something that really calls us into gladness, that is where we meet with God in that place. The author talked a bit about this old idea that if you are enjoying something, then it must be sinful. And that is such bad theology. God did not put us on this earth to simply be morose and to get through it all until our glory in heaven. We don't earn heaven by being miserable on earth. It just doesn't work that way. God has given us all interests and talents and desires and things that bring us gladness. And when we find those things, that's where we really are, I think, in that place that God has called us to be. I feel that way about preaching. I still get butterflies every time I preach. I'm still nervous and I still procrastinate writing sermons. But once I get into it, I really enjoy it. And when I'm preaching, I'm always hopeful that the people who are listening, if they are listening, are getting as much out of hearing what I'm saying as I did out of writing it. Because when I sit down to write a sermon, I don't sit down to write my stuff. I always pray that I will be open in heart and mind and soul to hear what God is saying to me, that God needs me to say to other people, and that other people will hear what the Spirit is moving them to hear. So even if I say something and I don't say it the right way, the Holy Spirit will change those words as they're transmitted from my lips to your ears, that what God intended me to say is what you will actually hear. I don't know how often that happens, but writing sermons in some odd way is my gladness. It's like my Olympic sport. It's that thing that I sometimes reluctantly, but will work hard at, put myself into, and put myself through my paces and really work at. And at the end, I'm pleased usually with what I come up with. I'm also usually really surprised with what I come up with. My plan at the beginning almost never works itself out to the end, because I learned something new as I'm writing that sermon. It's like God is giving me new information too. And so I think about this Olympic fever, or Olympic fatigue maybe would be a better way of phrasing it. And I realize that I have to let go of this sense that I have to do something in my life that the rest of the world says is worthwhile, because it's pretty easy to see the world thinks that sportsmanship is worthwhile. That's something to put money into, to support, to encourage. The RBC has been doing doing some training ground stuff where they go out and look for people, young people who are potential Olympians, and help them then to get to be better and more competitive. They even go so far as to find people who are doing one sport and encourage them into finding the sport that they really should be in. And we had an example of that. Was one of our medalists who was a soccer player who became, I think she won her gold medal in the sprint in bicycling. That's incredible. But we have to be careful. We don't lay expectations upon the rest of society and on ourselves, excuse me, that you have to be good in one certain thing. How boring would it be if we were all sports people? If everybody in the whole world all did sports? It wouldn't be very special to have Olympics, would there? Would it? Because we all do that. What makes it special is that that's an elite group of people who are doing that to that level. God made us all so differently that we need to learn to figure out where our gladness lies. Where is that place in our world, in our life, that we feel the happiest, where we feel the most blessed? I know it's become kind of trite, but some people say that when you find the work that you love, you never work a day in your life. When you have your vocation, you never work a day in your life. Well, to a degree, I love what I do, and I believe my vocation is to be a priest. There are many days it feels like work, but there's lots of time when I look back and think, I'd rather do this kind of work than anything else. How do we find that place? How do we find that place? And how do we find a way to accept that what we're doing is worthy of acknowledgement, and is worthy of not acknowledgement so much, is worthy of putting our heart and soul into it? What is it we can find in our own lives that we don't need a gold medal or a trophy or a ribbon to say from someone else that says you've done a good job? Because what we're doing is so much a part of who God made us to be that we hear God telling us we've done a good job. I think that's what our goal should be. Not Olympic gold for the rest of us, but our goal should be finding that thing, that work or that play or that hobby or that volunteering that we do, that at the end of the day, when we lay our head down, when we think about what have we accomplished today or what have we done, we can hear God saying, you just got the gold. I'm proud of you. Well done, good and faithful servant. Because I do believe that for each and every person, there is a gladness that God has imprinted on our souls that we are striving to find. So if you have found your gladness, God bless you. Work hard at it. Have fun with it. And may you always hear God's voice. But if you haven't found your gladness yet, if you haven't found your little niche, that thing that makes you happy, that gives you peace, keep working and pray about it, because you will find it. God has given every one of us that little gift, that little talent, that little thing that drives us to try to do that again, something that we really appreciate. I encourage you to either go out and use it or go out and find it today. Have a great day. God bless you. Recover from your Olympic fever or fatigue, and go out and find what is it that God is calling you to strive for in your own personal Olympics. And I will see you tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachael. God bless everybody.